Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Instagram at Unique Yet Connected. You are now listening to episode 55 of Unique Yet Connected podcast. The theme for this episode is codependent by choice and not by force.
You've been taught that you ought to want to destroy codependency, but it was created for a very good reason, to make you feel safe. It is good to look at codependency with a certain amount of tenderness and even love.
Hello, brilliant souls in and around the world. Nolitha is my name. Tolokazi is my clan name, and this is episode 55. A warm welcome to Unique Yet Connected podcast. As always, I'm with Kinga and Nick on the other side of the virtual. Over to you, King.
Thank you, Noli. Hello, dear listeners and co-editors. I am Kinga Sinaji.
Thank you for joining our movement of translating this wisdom of systemic family constellations into a practical language that all of us can easily understand and implement in our daily lives.
We are ending our long exploration of what are the signs of codependency. We definitely had enough time to explore codependency and to really connect back with where it is coming from. Why is it happening at all? Why I am holding on to it even when it's destroying my relationships and also myself. It was a wonderfully challenging journey for me to explore my relationships with codependency. You have a reaction and an idea of it, and everyone seems to be so negative about codependency. You've been taught that you ought to want to destroy it, but it was created for a very good reason, and the reason is to make you feel safe. It is good to look at codependency with a certain amount of tenderness and even love. It was your savior. If you go back to the game of victim and perpetrator, then codependency is a perfect behavior to keep this game running. Codependency saves you, but then it also kills your connection with yourself and also kills your relationship.
Oh my goodness, I like that you brought those two together. It saves you, but it can also kill your connection and relationship with yourself, which is exactly what I've been working with throughout our series. And you also said in the beginning of a romantic relationship, the codependent phase is important to help the two people relate and form a bond with each other.
You need the codependent stage to be able to survive the stages to come. Because you do not jump into interindependency, which is the highest level in a relationship, without going through the other steps. But as a couple, you need that first absolute oneness to be able to work through the problems when you are not feeling like one, but separated, yet you are in a relationship.
I like what you say. Knowing that we need it is liberating for me. Knowing that we can't just jump onto the next phases, without finishing or shifting properly to the next one. Looking at it with tenderness and love and knowing it is for the good of the relationship. That's an important takeaway for me.
Most of the time when you get into a relationship at a later stage of your life, less and less you are going to experience this first codependent period. Much sooner into the relationship where you feel that you are two separate people and you have your own lives next to being in a relationship with each other. This does not qualify the relationship as less than, but it shows you your own development as a person in the context of relationship. Me and you. The dynamics of the relationship develop according to what you need from it. If you have already experienced puppy love and you know that it exists, then most of the time you don't need it to last forever. even though some couples do try to keep it up forever. And when it can't be kept any longer, then they break up because they feel that that is the only love. After that, there is no love.
This is enlightening. I recognize the panic of thinking that the love is gone. So now that I know, I have the wisdom is to know that, just sit, wait, find out what's going on, what stage you're in, and then take it from there. You're still listening to episode 55. The theme for this episode is codependent by choice and not by force. Remember, when you comment, ask, like, and share our content and links, you help us grow together and change lives together. Like us on Facebook and on Instagram at Unique Yet Connected.
I'm sure you have seen people, when the first part is finished, they always move on. They say, no, this love and relationship is finished. But the truth is that they leave because this is the time when the hard work starts. Working on the relationship and also on yourself. Normally, as you mature and your understanding of love transforms, you need less and less of the popular phase to get through the difficult ones to come.
Yes, I've also seen people move on. What are you saying when you say normally as you mature and your understanding of love transforms?
Starting a new love as you get older is a bit different.
How come?
You learn from every relationship that you went through, and if you have successfully grown in the previous relationship, you will need less time to spend with the different development stages: codependent, counter-dependent, independent, and finally interdependent. The interdependence is such a high level that normally you don't just jump there. Before that, you have to go through the other stages, including the counter-dependent stage. Just like about codependency, there is also a very negative attitude towards counter-dependency. And I think it is judged very harshly. And its importance is not fully understood in relationship development. It is difficult because it is supposed to be difficult. It is my family compared to your family, and normally this feels horrible. It feels like, oh my God, why would you even do this? It is often triggered when children arrive into the relationship. When a child is born or a stepchild appears, because everyone has a different idea of how you should raise children, this way is gonna start. Because everyone has a different idea of how you should raise children. If there are no children involved in the counter-dependent stage, we come out in the differences about life choices. Or if there is a shared company, then in running the company. But it is important because there has to be a point in every relationship when it is okay to have different opinions with your partner and it doesn't hurt the relationship any longer.
This is so profound. I must agree, children do trigger this. I now understand why a lot of relationships don't get past this stage. If we didn't start the natural development stages of a romantic relationship in our podcast, I wouldn't have been able to grow and transform as I have in my relationship.
The next stage is independence, which is again difficult because it almost feels like that you are detached from each other because now you are creating your image and identity independently from your partner. It is challenging to stay in the relationship because it can become a burden that now you have another person you have to look out for or have to adjust to. My parents lived for 43 years in counter dependency. They never moved beyond it. They fought about who is right for 43 years.
And that is a very long time, dear listeners. So, is it possible for people to remain in one stage and not grow, but still be together. That's what you say in the previous example when you shared about your parents.
Yes, of course.
Is that why when women in their 50s or 60s, when they finally get divorced, they always say that they were not independent, even though on the outside looking in, you were saying that the marriage ended a long time ago, in a sense that they were living separate lives, and they would agree that their marriage ended a long time ago and they were only there for the kids. And now that the kids are gone, they want their independence. What kind of independence are we talking about in these natural development stages?
I'm looking forward to when we will start to talk about independence, because this is the stage when you find yourself. You stop fighting to change the other person. It is not like the counter-dependent stage where you want things to be according to what you would like them, and you believe this happens because you know they are the right things to do, say, and expect. The two stages where your relationship benefits the most from the constellation's work are the counter-dependent and independent stages. These are the stages where yours and your partner's differences in belief systems and family patterns come out. When you are in counterdependency, you still have a lot of connection, even if it is almost always a negative one. But you are still very much connected. You still want this to be a successful relationship. You want to work through the differences. And you still want the other one to change for the relationship to become a happy one. Independence is even trickier than counterdependence because suddenly the connection feels broken. This is the point when you realize that the person you are with is incorrigible and will never change. It becomes a burden to apply yourself. You feel like you are just to do your own thing, and then you will be happy. There is another thing about relationship development that people don't get to do same stage at the same time. One can already be in the independence and the other one still in the counter-dependent stage. The one in the independent will have difficulty staying in a relationship where the other is still fighting. The people who stick it through this independent stage together might have experienced the pain of a broken marriage or outside circumstances like having children or financial reasons make it difficult for them to leave. They have to get through this stage together, even though they almost getting through it separately.
So we have the codependent, counterdependent, independent, and interdependent. And thank you for opening all that up for us, Kings. I now realize that it's so easy to quit when a couple doesn't have this insight, especially at that point where you feel like you've lost each other without realizing that you're in different stages of your relationship.
Thank you for your contribution in helping us to be chosen into the top 10 South Africa Family Podcasts by FeedSpot. Join our monthly virtual connection circle every last Tuesday evening of the month. To receive your link, subscribe on our website www.uniqueyetconnected.com or check for updates on our socials at uniqueyetconnected.
In the next episode, we will explore the natural stages of a romantic relationship.
If you feel like you are experiencing limiting patterns or relationship issues and would like to have an individual session, book a family constellation session with us on our website www.uniqueyetconnected.com or on our socials, Facebook or Instagram. Our handle on both platforms is @uniqueyetconnected.
A big thank you to you, dear listener, for listening to our episode. And another big thank you to Nick Mons from That Guide Productions for making us sound fabulous and on point. Episode 56 is in 2 weeks' time from now. Tune in on the 29th of September 2024 from 10 a.m. South African Standard Time. For links and updates, stay tuned on our Facebook and Instagram pages at Unique Yet Connected. Unique spelled YOUNIQUE. Stay unique, stay connected, and remember you are one of a kind and we can only create a really meaningful podcast together. Siyabulela, khoso nom, till the next episode.
Thank you. Kusunum, siyabulela.